ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AUSF1 Tier 3 action tonight on your Wednesday evening. Final race before we have a bit of the season break. And if we see anything like we saw the first two nights, this particular round at Australia should be a fun one. Scotty with you in the comms box once again for tonight's action, and yeah, can't wait look forward to this one. We've got the green flag ready to go, so I'll be into qualifying very shortly. We'll quickly have a look at our calendar for this evening, and as you can see, final race before a bit of a break. Real life F1 this weekend. Can't wait for the practice to start Friday afternoon. Should be a very interesting race. We'll see if McLaren looks just as good as what they did in testing. Can't wait to find that out. But it's been a good first half of the season here in Tier 3. Looking at our driver standings for everybody at home, Cash Mash, obviously, I believe he got moved up, so that's why he's reserved. Obviously, 3 races, 3 wins, so he's out of it. So T8 is your effective championship leader at the moment, and it's a Merc 1-2 with David, only 1 point behind his teammate Jerobot, Bevo, and Bridgie, your top 5. Battle Cat, obviously, big learning curve for him this season with the medium traction switch around, and obviously just lost that little bit of pace. Hasn't actually picked up a podium in the first opening 5 rounds, so we'll see if he can come good at the end, or by the time we get to the end of the season. Looking at our constructors titles, Mercedes up top. Obviously, they're 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 at the moment in the drivers, so not surprising that they're up the top. Only 1 win. Haas obviously losing Cash Mash with, and they're 100 points. But we'll see if Haas can sort of still maintain the fight. But Mercedes looking really, really good at the moment. Sauber currently in P3, Aston, McLaren, Ferrari, Racing Bulls, Red Bull, Williams, and Alpine bringing up the rear of the grid. Looking at our track details now. Softest of the Pirelli range this evening, the C3, the C4, and the C5. About 29 laps we should, hopefully all under green flag action, but we've seen safety cars in both Tier 1 and Tier 2. Hopefully we don't see one, but I am expecting one with the nearly full grid that we've got this evening. But we will have 14 corners around this 5.278 kilometre circuit. 120.235 is the lap record by Perez in 2023. Obviously 4 DRS zones, which means people will be running a little bit lower on the wings than some of the other tracks. But I think looking at talking to a few of the drivers, you still got at least 20 on your wings. It's sort of just a variation of sort of how you want to, how comfortable you are around here. Obviously sector 3 is a little bit tight and twisty, so you just obviously want to make sure that you're comfortable with the traction out of the corners, because that's going to be your big time loss around here. Track evolution we saw at the end of both quali sessions earlier on in the weekend or in the week. Very important to get your lap done as late as possible. But yeah, should be interesting nonetheless. But that's enough talking from me. Let's see the cars out on action. This is the final race of round 6. This is Tier 3 Australia. Alright, so bright and sunny conditions we do have for qualifying at the moment. 18 drivers on the grid this evening. Not sure if we've got any latecomers or not. At the moment we've only got... who are we missing? I think we've got... both RBs are in. We've got both Red Bulls. No, we're missing a Red Bull and a... Williams. No, not Williams. Haas. So I think we're missing a Haas and a Red Bull this evening. So we can see T8 on screen at the moment. So a few drivers out on track at the moment, a few guys on their outlaps. Dan the Racer, people in the first sector. We'll try and catch one of these guys on a bit of we'll do a proper flying lap a little bit later on in the session. So we'll follow Dan first. So in the Sauber, DRS open. So looking towards turns 9 and 10 now for the Sauber driver. So well within track limits, as again, not sure if you're going to really push it on the opening banker lap in quali. Just get you a bit of an eye and just make sure you got your setup proper. Let's look, it's a smooth lap from Dan. We'll see how quick it is. 2 more corners left to go, turns 13 and 14 now. Donut, or a bit of a slide from Dan as Donut Gorilla goes top 17.6. So yellow flag, just slow cars coming out of the pit lane. Dan goes a 120.4 as Arcs goes a 17.211. So nice lap time from the Red Bull driver there on the mediums as well. That's a quick lap from Arcs. I'm just having a quick look. What was the tier 2 pole time from last night? It was Sebi with a 1:16.028, 2/10 ahead of Cashmash. So we're about a second off tier 2, which is sort of what you want if you're going down the grid. That's a medium tyre for Arcs, so he'll have another few tenths, and that'll be a 16 time. If you get about a 16.6, 16.7, that would have put you just inside the top 10 or tier 2. So Arc could find himself right up there. But obviously half the grid not setting a lap time yet. T8 goes into P8, just behind Donmore, who goes 7th. T8 yesterday did a 17.3. So you see he's obviously about a second off, but again, very, very early in the session, 13 minutes left to go. Jerobot goes inside the top 3, David as well. So we can see Bevo and Paul and L on a lap at the moment. So we'll follow Bevo for a lap around this 5.2 kilometre circuit as he comes down to turns number 1 and 2. Gives it plenty of room. Doesn't want to invalidate early. Very easy to do that. You just try and just be a little bit greedy and try and take a little bit too much. Turn 3 now. Looking solid for Bevo. Turn 4. Now the quick, fast hand, right hand of turn 5. 26.9 for this first sector. Right hand turn 6, 7. And then this is sort of the turn 8. He's going to get he's going to get a nice toe. I believe that's from his teammate. Probably caught him a little bit too early. So wasn't a bad toe, just not quite worked out, but he'll still get a benefit from it. 44.7 for the second split. On the soft compounded tyre is Bevo. Makes his way down to turn 11. Taking as much curve as he can, leaving just enough room. Turn 12 does the exact same. Switches to the left-hander of 13. Oh, this car. Oh, he just got away with that, Bevo. Thankfully, the Red Bull was on the outside enough. He might have had to take a slightly narrower line through the last corner. And he goes P2, 17.3. So, it's a very nice lap time. Did probably hurt himself with... I don't know if that was... No, that was Arcs, so... Not sure what happened there. That was a bit of a spin. Jerobot goes quickest though, 17.191. And I reckon that's probably the time Bevo may have lost. So nice work, Jerobot. 17.191. So Jerobot actually he had a very nice race in Tier 1, reserving up 2 spots just to fill the seat. It was sort of at the back with me, but he managed to keep it out of the carnage and score a P10, I think it was. Yes, it was P10, so solid, some decent points for a Tier 3 reserve, jumping up 2 tiers. So obviously he's got the practice. Obviously it was near qualifying, because obviously just with the chaos that we saw in Tier 1. So as hopefully he's not on a hot lap. Nearly has to get out of the Aston's way. And I believe that would have been Battle Cat. So it was Battle Cat that was given Bevo the toe that we saw. So maybe those guys working together. Actually, I can definitely see in the general chat that those two are in there, so they definitely would have coordinated that. They've done that well today. Can Battlecat get to the top? No, but he can get right beside his teammate on the second row. 10th down. Battlecat up in there, up inside the top 4 now. That's slow. We've got a Haas coming out of the final corner. That's Paul and Hell. Starting another lap. As we've got Cuds. Bit of a slide. So if you ask me which Cuds this is, because there's like 5 or 6 of them around, I don't know if it's actually Cuds, if it's ads, or if it's another person. So I'm assuming I'll find that out very shortly. But Cuds goes P12. Deadly Fuller. Pebble in the middle sector for himself. On board. Doesn't really have the battery left to sort of play with. So not sure if this will be a lap that they'll continue on. 18.6 is their lap time at the moment. So they will go around once more. It's a quick lap. They'll get a bit of a tow from the car in front. Can Deadly Fuller jump inside the top 10? Finds half a second. Only jumps up a couple of spots though. So P12 just ahead of his teammate in Bridgie, who's on the other side of the tracks down on their time at the moment. Oh, Cuds, that's super wide. Oh, was that a hit of the wall? End plate's still there, but that got very close. Dan on his out lap. King Dogger. So how is Kingy doing? So obviously another one that's having to practice, obviously, without the full traction. So I know he's doing well in a couple of leagues, but he's doing well at Inters, but that's allowing full. But I can't remember if he's turned that back on or not. But he wasn't, I wasn't believe in the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment. So we'll see what the Williams driver can do. Up by 0.3 of a second. So that will put him close as Arcs goes even quicker. That's a 16.1 if you don't mind. And I believe that was that's P2 in Tier 2. So that might bring up a couple of questions. But hell of a lap from Arcs. Yes, there's 29 laps ahead, but that's a hell of a qualifying. And honestly, out of all the lists that I can see, I don't feel like I see anybody that could beat that time. King Dog across the line. He'll go close to a 17.2. So 17. So that's a 0.367 goes onto the second row of the grid. Yeah, I definitely a few ears would have been pointed up due to that 16.1. I don't think I even did any 16.1 in Tier 1 on Monday night. That's how quick that lap time is. What was... yeah, I did a 16.8. Yeah, I was bloody slow. Jerabot did a 6. Jerabot's best time is a 16.7 that he did on Monday. So Jerabot can maybe find 0.4 of a second, but he's not getting a 16.1. I can guarantee you that, unless he's completely changed his setup from Monday. Hey, shout out Arcs. That was a great lap time. Dunmore coming across the line to start another lap. Just over 6 minutes left to go in the session, and it's Arcs Jerabot your front row at the moment. Dan, half second up. Oh, big slide through the final corner. Definitely saved it, nowhere near close to the wall. Got lucky. He was 0.8 up. Arcs retired from the session. And that's good enough. He won't have to go out. He wouldn't have to even go out again. So Donmore, 0.8 up, 18.1. Easily that slide probably cost him potentially the 0.3 to sort of get into the Aussie nudes range. So Dan's definitely got time to come back into the pits, get a fresh set of boots on, and then go out again. F1 original Paulie raced last night. He got... Where'd Paulie finish? Paulie finished P12, so picked up 4 points for McLaren. Reserving from them last night. Oh, big slide through 12. That will lose him time, however. Nice catch from him, though. Rounds the final corner. The RB behind, Donmore, will be on a hot lap, so it'll be the two that crosses the line, and Donmore puts it inside the top 3. Great lap from Don Moore. Toe definitely helped, but hell of a lap time. Only about a 10th off Jerabot. So it's pretty much going to be the battle for P2. He's just got enough time, Don Moore, to come in. And if he's got another set of soft compounder tyres, he'll be able to throw them on. Bevo's out on the soft, same as Battle Cat. So both Astons out slightly earlier. Potentially getting a second run if they make a mistake on their first lap. So we'll wait and see. Everybody obviously in the pit lane or starting an out lap. Paulie had that mistake. He's on a slow down. Don Moore obviously on his lap. Jerabot on a slow one, I believe, as well. No, sorry, Jerabot, we sort of missed that. Apologies. He did 16.7, so sort of matched his time from Monday night. So good lap from Jerabot. Still 6/10 off of what Ark did, but yeah, nice lap from Jerabot. So I think it's going to be, you know, I think it was going to be Battle Cat. So we'll have a look at Battle Cat's lap. So does he have any more pace? If he can find a couple of tenths, we'll move him up to the second row of the grid. He's got enough time to back out if he needs to, but he's making his way down to turn 3 now. Won't have a tow from a teammate though. Bevo, you can see on the track map, is coming out of turn 2 now. So it's going to be no tow for both Aston Martin drivers. Cat slightly up through the first sector. Now sector 2, it's pretty much nothing. You get 6, 7 and 8 right, and it's all the way down to the second sector line just before turn 9. DRS all the way down this curved straight. Up by 1/10 and a half now. Battle Cat, can he get through 9 and 10 cleanly? He does. Bit more DRS. Has he saved a bit more battery for this last part of the lap? Turn 11. Little slide off exit. Turn 12. This ball is retired from the session. He'll start from the last row on the grid. Battle Cat now only one corner to navigate. All important to get this exit clean, and it was. Battery's flashing. He's going to use the last little bit. Can he jump from P6? He does. P3. Second row at the moment. 17 flat. So it gives him a bit of breathing room, but you got Don Moore on an out lap. Bevo, can his teammate go any quicker? He's only up slightly. Oh, but he finds 7 tenths. He goes 16.5. Bevo to the front row. That's going to be hard for Jerabot and others to beat him. Still 3 and a bit tenths off Arcs, but great lap from the Aston Martin driver. Aston Martin 2 and 4 at the moment. Jerabot slightly up, about 2 tenths. A minute 50 left to go on the clock. All slide out. So Jerabot, if he backs off, he'll be able to go again. And he lost time. So he's got a minute 40. He'll be able to turn all his battery off and then go for one last flying if he's got the fuel. Donut Gorilla 17.6. Can Donut Gorilla go to the top? No. They were on an aborted lap. Delhi Fuller. Actually, Aussie. Missed Aussie. He's gone top 5. 17.2. It's going to be Delhi Fuller next on the lap. Yellow flag. Obviously a lot of traffic out there. We've hit the minute stage left. As he makes his way through the long sort of turn 8. Nothing corner. We're up to turn 9. Equal on his time at the moment. Turn 10. Doesn't have a lot of battery to play with left, does the Ferrari driver. Bit of a yellow at the back. Ellie Fuller, turn 12. 2 more corners to navigate now. It's looked solid. Oh, bit of a slide, bit of a correction. So, not sure if this is going to be an improvement. It does. By 10th, it jumps up 18 flat. The Williams has invalidated, but this was Donut. He is able to go again. The McLaren of Aussie. Crosses the line. He can go again. First one now will be Bridgie. as we do hit the checkered flag now. Jerabot is done. He starts at least third. But does he hold that P3? Bridgie crosses the line. 16th. The two RBs follow. Nude stay 13. Domwar P6. You got one of the Astons in the pits. You've got the Mercedes, not Dave. It's going to be T8. Up by 2/10 and jumps up to inside the top 5. 17 flat. Nice lap from T8. The Aston Martin of Bevo, where is he? Is next. Can he find time? He did find time. He found 4/10. He's only 7/1000ths off Arcs. Arcs had a lot more time, and I have a feeling maybe got a nice toe. Bevo got a hell of a lot closer than what I thought he was going to be. Aussie on a lap. We'll go Donut first. A couple other guys retiring in pit lane. No real improvements further down. Gorilla's invalidated, so that is done. Aussie, does he have any more time? As he tries to get the toe from the Williams. It wasn't much. And I don't think Aussie found the time. No, he stays 7th. But hell of a lap from Bevo. I think people were sort of second guessing that Arc's time. But you can see Bevo pulled in a hell of a time behind. And that was a very, very close front row. Both those boys half a second clear of the rest of the field. But it's going to be Arcs on pole position. Ahead of Bevo, Jerabot Battle Cap, T8, King Dogger, Power Aussie, Domwar, Dave in P9, A-Dog in 10th, Donut in 11th, Paul and Hell in 12th, Nudes in 13th, Thurleyful in 14th, Dan the Racer, Bridgie, Cuds, and F1 Original Paulie will round out our grid of 18 drivers. So thankfully I actually got all the names from a little database, so didn't have to change too many names, but we load into qualifying now. Looks bright and sunny again, so all 3 races this week have managed to avoid a bit of rain, so we're very happy with that. So question is, are we going to be clean through the opening 2 laps? We've seen safety cars twice on both on the second lap, and they've been big collisions that have taken out multiple cars. So hopefully we can get through the opening laps carnage free, or at least a big collision free as well. So it's a quick start. We have the lights. And we're underway. Good start from Arcs. It's the quick look at. It's Bevo that's bogged down a little bit. Jerabot having the outside line. Will he be able to go around the outside of the Aston Martin? He does. Looks like all cars have gone through turns 1 and 2 cleanly at least. Yellow flag at the back, so someone might have picked up a little bit of damage. As we got Arcs and Jerabot. Bridgie's retired from the session. He's had a crash. Oh, as Paul and Help picks up a 10-second time penalty with the contact with Bridgie. So I have a feeling that maybe Bridgie's been turned and he's been collected by at least Paul and L. Maybe a couple of other cars, but we haven't even gone through the first sector and we've got our first safety car of the evening. Unfortunately, we're 1 Ferrari down. Bridgie, unfortunately, after all that work, they've only done 2 corners and they're out of the race, unfortunately. So just having a quick look, Dan's got a bit of front wing damage. I think on the right-hand side. Yeah, you can see right-hand side damage for him. Paul and Hell has got some side pod damage. It's only light side pod damage, but that may hurt in this race. And Deli Fuller has front wing damage. He's, you can see on the left-hand side. So unfortunately, few drivers been caught up with that. Thankfully, none of the top 13, from what I can see, have picked up any damage. Everybody staying out, I'd imagine, apart from everybody that did pick up the damage. So you got Cuds in He is sharing and saying no damage. So this is going to be a normal pit stop from Cuds. Hard tyres go on the Alpine. Deli Fuller getting the front wing changed. Dan the Racer getting his front wing changed. Everybody else staying out. Paul and Hell staying out with the 10-second penalty. Obviously, we saw that last night as well. A couple of people, I can't remember who it was. Might have been Maniac, if I'm not mistaken. If it was someone else. They stayed out with a 10-second penalty because they didn't want to jump onto the hard compounded tyres too early, because they knew, we saw with J-Man last night, he really struggled trying to take hards from lap 2 onwards, and he was really falling down the field. So obviously Paul and Hell decides he'd rather serve his penalty later on. Maybe he's hoping for a safety car, but he doesn't want to jump on the mediums as of yet. So he'll go a little bit longer. He's got a little bit of track position from it. Everyone else behind has made a stop. But yeah, really unfortunate that we've lost Bridgie at the start of lap 1, unfortunately. So looking at our position changes, so obviously we saw Jerabot and Bevo getting bogged down just a little bit off the start. Jerabot getting the position. King Doggers jumped T8 in that. Dave's up 1. Donut's gone up 2. Don Moore's lost a couple. A-Dog down 1. Nudes up 1. Paulie down 1. F1 Original Paulie started at the back, obviously 3 drivers making a pit stop and 1 crashing out. He's gone up 4 spots. So Deadly Full, the biggest sort of loser at the back, down 3. So obviously up front got clean, but obviously a bit of mayhem out of turn 2. Bridgie, I'd imagine, has been turned, maybe having a moment off turn 2, and he's either been hit, he's been taken out and then obviously hit the wall, taking his tyre off, or he's just been collected in the middle of the road. But obviously further down, thankfully it hasn't caused too many issues. We can see everybody who did start, apart from Paul and Hell, did start on the medium compounded tyre as well. Just having a quick look. I'm just seeing if I can see any footage of maybe Bridgie, or if any comments in the Tier 2 chat. Nothing yet, but really unfortunate that, yeah, we've lost a driver already. Thankfully has avoided any carnage, so he's still in P6. So we'll just wait for the safety car. Should be in this lap. So Arx actually has to catch his safety car, because I have a feeling that's more than 10 car lengths behind. So safety car is in. He got lucky. Yeah, that could have been very close. If that safety had gone out, kept out another lap, might have been a little bit of trouble. But he does have control of the field now. Lap 3 of 29. So we haven't really seen any racing, but he'll have control. I'd imagine out of the final corner he'll go. So come through turn 12 now. Thank you everyone for joining us for the last race before the season has the mid-season break, and Arx has gone early and hasn't quite caught Jerabot napping, but he's got the jump that he wanted. Dan the Race has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in very shortly. I'll keep an eye on that. Might be able to get him an invite as Arx, Jerabot, Bevo, Battle Cat. So he went early enough that it sort of spread the field out. King Dogger's already outside of 1 second. He's just back in. As T8 Aussie, as you got Don Moore and Donut swapping for positions. Don Moore down the inside, gets the position done. Nice move down at turn 3. Cold tyres, obviously, for the guys. The pause, can't pause to go in AI and warm your tyres up that way, with that patch now being fixed. So they've got to warm them up the old-fashioned way. Dan's back into the race, thankfully, so he's at the back. Won't lose too many positions, hopefully. Cards is 3 seconds off, so maybe a little bit of a problem, as Paul is left the session now. Hopefully he can jump straight back in. But field already spread, and the top four got a bit of a gap as the two Aston Martins very close together. They'll try and work together to try and keep within the 1 second of the leading pair. And Arcs, he's looking good. I saw in the chat that this is pretty much his favourite circuit on this calendar, on this F124 calendar, and that is showing 20.2 fastest lap for the Red Bull driver. As Cards is in the wall at the last corner. Not if he's sure if he's had contact with someone, but he's got front wing damage. Deadly Fuller has got a bit of front wing damage as well, so he's picked up more damage on the restart. So he's going to have to come back in. Well, I don't know what tyre he goes on to, because those mediums won't be able to go the rest of the race unless he tries to hang it out for another safety car. But Arcs, Jerabot, Bevo, gap really sort of stretching out now. T8 gets past King Dogger up inside the top 5. So I think everybody's got a bit of DRS. It's going to be Battle Cat that could be in trouble. He's got his wing open at least this lap. Paul is joined back. But this top part of the... Oh, that was wide from King Dogger. So thankfully hasn't lost too much time from that. Might have picked up a warning depending on sort of how this game feels. Yeah, got very lucky with the Williams driver, Aussie. He'd like the look of that, try and pounce a position, as T8 does set the fastest lap after getting that move done. And he's right on the back of Battle Cat as Dom Moore is in the wall and he's out. So he made a move at turn 1. There's a big collision. Whether he's had contact off the side of David, I think it was that he was going past, or if he's just taken the corner, maybe just lost the car. But that's straight into turn number, the outside wall at 2, and that is Dom Moore's race done. Second safety car of the night. And now, because we're 5 laps in, now it would not surprise me if we see a few of these medium runners come in, get off the medium compounded tyres. With the safety car will probably come in at the end of lap 8. You're more likely to take hards 20 laps than you are 26. So would not surprise me whatsoever if a few of these medium runners come in. Probably smart if you do come in. Problem is, what does Battle Cat do? He's going to be held regardless, and he's going to drop a hell of a lot of positions. This is not what he would have wanted. So, chaos plagued at the moment. Again, we just unfortunately caught the end of the Dom Moore crash, so I'm not sure if he had help or if it was just a loss of car. No, Arcs is staying out. Jerabot comes in. Bevo coming in. Everybody's going to come in. I think this is the smarter play. We haven't seen a late turf safety car this week. But everybody coming in. Cards picks up a drive through. We'll have to serve that. Battle Cat, as we knew, was going to get held. Both Williams getting... the second Williams of Donut getting held as well. Dave, I believe... No, Dave didn't get held because T8 stayed out. A-Dog stayed out as well. So top 6 stayed out. So remember, Deadly Fuller and Dan the Racer have made their stop. Deadly Fuller's got wing damage. Problem is, I don't really know what he can do, because unless he goes onto a medium and then back onto the old set of hards, he's going to struggle. Or his Arcs has left the session. He's left it as a good time. I'll keep an eye on the chat and just see if he needs it in. I think I may not have him added, but I'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully he can get in. T8 might get him in as well. So everybody on the hard compounded tyres. F1 Paulie. Paulie obviously staying out. He's on hard, so he's always going to go long. So this moves him up all the way up to P4. He'll like a safety car in about 10 laps time. He can chuck a medium set of compound tyres on, and he can get to the end. So if you're just joining us, we're under our second safety car of the night. This latest one caused by a big crash for Don Moore at turn 1. Obviously through the right-hander having a moment, just caught the end of it unfortunately. Comes in, or as Arx's, I think that's Arx's AI car that's boxed him. Worst case scenario, he'll go onto the hard compounded tyres. God, you hate this game. Problem is, if hopefully gets an invite back. I'm just waiting for him to just message something in the chat if you need an invite. Try and get one now, but again, I don't know if I've got you added. But I'll quickly double check. Oh, yes, I do. You know if I had you or not, but I do. So, sent you an invite. Hopefully you can get back in. So, under safety car, but that's rotten luck for Arx. But we'll see if he, with that massive pace that he's got, if he can claw through this field. But he's down in P15. Top 5 yet to stop. Or say top 3 yet to stop. Dan and Deadly Full are going to have a tough time keeping the guys behind. So you have a feeling Jerabot is your net race leader with Bevo, King Dogger and Paralozzi sort of right in contention there. But we'll wait and see. Safety car should be in at the end of this lap. All right, safety car now in, and it's going to be T8 who leads the way. He's one of only too many runners yet to stop. And is this the right call from the Mercedes driver? We're back underway. Good getaway. He's dropped A-Dog by a second already. So we'll see if this move to stay out comes into play. Arx, I've sent you the invite. I'll send you another one. Quickly chuck down. Got you in there now. Hopefully that works for you. So T8 A-Dog, F1 Original, Paulie down the race to Deadly, your top 5. Jerabot in a really nice position in P6. So on board with the Sauber driver. So not really any super close battles. I think Jerabot's the closest to potentially get a move done. Well, I say that, Arx I think has control. Gonna go around the outside of Paul and L and goes and gets that move done. So Arx, we'll see if the comeback drive can be there. Paul and Hill gets a 3-second time penalty as well as Donut Gorilla. So first 3-second penalty and now up and running. Delhi Fuller, nearly runs into the back of Dan the Racer. Then goes a little bit deep at 13. Will affect his line through 14. Jerabot wanting to get a move on as T8 starts lap 10. So we'll get a bit of DRS. T8 will probably only want to go another 2-3 laps before he jumps onto the hards. You'll have a bit of a tyre offset, but is it going to be too much to try and gap a nearly 20-second margin again with only 2 or 3 lap precious hard compounded tyres? We'll wait and see. Dan's already dropped 2 seconds. So he sort of needs Dan to be a bit of a buffer for these guys. So T8 can sort of get a little bit more of a margin ahead. Maybe with the way this race is going, we might see a third safety car. That's, I'm assuming, what T8 and A-Dog are hoping for. Good exit from Dan the Racer, though. So Deadly Fuller will get a bit of DRS. Remember, Deadly's got front wing damage. Has put Paulie on those hard compounded tyres. Probably working a little bit nicer than what the mediums are. As Dan still holding that position. You've got Deadly Fuller behind. Jerabot, you'll see the two in front battling. Gets the job done. So again, these two really holding up the pack behind. 5-second gap between T8 in this battle. Oh, and Cerebrot nearly goes into his teammate. And that's actually affected him because you're going to have Bevo already down the inside. It's going to be DRS, ERS. Is Bevo down the inside? No, he's not. Jerabot had the straight line speed as Deli Fuller had a poor exit through 2. So Dan's going to try and go around the outside at 3. No, he can't. Doing a little bit of a collision and Bevo's off. So Bevo loses a couple of positions. King Dogger and Aussie. Doesn't have any wing damage. Hopefully no one else does either. No, just Deli Fuller still, but he still had that from the safety car. So Dan, he'll jump out of the way. That's probably good teamwork there from Sauber. Jerabot's on the fresher compounder tyres. Dan can technically go to the end. Oh, is Jerabot? I thought he was going to try and go at Deli Fuller, but he sort of butchered that a little bit. As look at King Dogger, he's going to go down the inside of Dan the Racer. Nice move, bit of a slide. Dan gives him enough room just in case he needed more room to correct. But thankfully, no contact between the cars, and King Dogger up to P6, Bevo down to P13. So he's had a bit of a shocker. Don't think he's got any. Oh, actually, I can't tell if he's got any damage or not. Did he pick up wing damage? Yes, he did. Right side of his wing completely gone. So I did see debris at turn 3 on the previous lap, and that's what it was for. As Jerabot and Deli Fuller, Jerabot down around the outside, getting the job done. Nicely done. Dan the Race having a moment off the curb that allows Aussie through on the Sauber. He drops P8, and Battle Cat will be the next driver trying to get through. But now Jerabot's got a bit of clean air now. We'll see what he can do. He's about 6 seconds away from T8, who's yet to stop. As you got King Dogger and Deli Fuller fighting side by side. Both should have DRS, but it's going to be King Dogger who gets the better run off 6 and 7. So Williams driver up inside the top 5. So top 3 yet to stop. So this is going to be your battle for the effective race lead as Bevo and Paul and Hill fighting further down. Arx is up inside the top 10 as well from his recovery drive. With all these guys sort of getting held up, it is helping Arx's progress, and he's making moves and not losing a ton of time to the guys that he was racing prior to him leaving the session and having to make that unplanned pit stop. As he gets another driver up inside the top 9 now. So, as we have a look, little bit of a moment. So, Deli Fuller sort of holding up Aussie a little bit. Still within DRS. Jerabot very close behind A-Dog, who picks up a 3-second time penalty. That picked up a warning at turn 6. Very easy to do on the exit there. Yellow flag. Cuds is retired from the session. No safety car at the moment. Oh, T8 would have loved that safety car at this time. But nothing doing. Jerabot very close. Won't have any DRS to get the job done. But I have a feeling having moments. Oh, Deli Fuller's half spun. He was side by side with, I think it was Aussie. But he's dropped a whole bunch of positions. He's back down to P11 now. So, we see A-Dog coming into the box. Arx is up inside the top 6. Hell of a recovery drive. Said it's his favourite track for a reason, and he's proving it. He's been able to field through. A couple of guys have gone off, so he's been able to capitalise on that too. But he's absolutely flying through this field. E6. Oh, big moment from Aussie. Just about saves it. Keeps it off the wall. But Arx gifted another position up inside the top 5 now. He won't have any DRS, but he's right on the back Oh, as Battle Cat and Dan and David. So we nearly went 3 wide. At the moment, it's Battle Cat and David who's got DRS. Oh, that got very close to contact between the Mercedes and the Sauber. Thankfully avoiding contact. Dan losing a couple of positions there. Battle Cat top 7, but I have a feeling he's got to potentially have a move on him at turn 8. No, but the Ferrari will have a move on Dan at turn 9. Deadly Fuller, nice move. Remember, Deadly Fuller still holding that wing damage. T8 finally comes into the box, so he'll have about a 7-lap offset with the hard compounded tyres. Not sure if it's going to be enough. Clean pit stop. So he's going to come out right at the back of this train. Oh, yellow. No, that wasn't a yellow flag. That's just the speed trap. I thought I was getting my hopes up for T8 there a little bit. So he's got to warm up those hard compounded tyres, but that gives him a little bit of an offset. So what's his lead? So it's about 15 seconds off the lead of this race. So tough ask for T8, but if there's a safety car in the next 2 to 3 laps, he'll most certainly be staying out. As Donut picks up another 3-second time penalty. So unfortunately he can't quite keep it within track limits. As we see Paulie, Jerabot, King Dogger, our top 3 within a 1.5 seconds of each other. As we get the down shot at turn 11. And you can see Arcs is closing in very quickly. 1.3 seconds. Absolutely flying at the moment. It was about half a second quicker than our race leader last time around and did not have any DRS. That's how much he's flying. He'll have DRS now. I don't think he got it this lap. But he'll most certainly have it by the time we get to the back straights. So Jerabot does get by Paulie. And the Alpine try to hang it down the inside. King Dogger just more grip. Should see Paulie in the next probably 2 to 3 laps. Get onto those medium compounded tyres. T8 gets past Donut at turn 3. So his climb back up begins. Again, he sort of will need these guys at the front to sort of really battle hard. Jerabot, he's a second clear. And King Dogger might be in a little bit of trouble here. No, he got DRS. I thought no one would have got it. He must have still been in there. Oh, as we go side by side, a little bit of a moment from King Dogger. Paulie didn't have the best exit and look for Arcs. It gives me a better camera angle. We're going to go 3 wide. Who breaks latest? It's going to be the Red Bull of Arcs. Double overtake for the Red Bull driver. Fantastic move. Had the middle corner. I think it was King Dogger on the inside. He broke earlier. Same as Paulie on the outside. Red Bull wanted it more up inside the P2, and he's only got 1.3 seconds to close down to Jerabot. And with the pace he's showing, he'll close that very quickly indeed. King Dogger trying to hang on to a bit of DRS. Paulie obviously yet to stop, so Aussie currently in net P4. Dave and Battlecat fighting. Battlecat thought about the move down at 3. Backed out of it. So you've got Bevo and T8. Now, Bevo still trying to hang on with that front wing. Right on board. T8 should have so much more grip and purchase through here. Yeah, you can. I reckon T8 could have gone a lot quicker through there. Bevo, no DRS, will get the job done. Aussie and Paulie swap positions. So Aussie gets that move done. He'll have DRS to be able to help defend. Bevo and T8 easily gets the job done. As we see Deadly Fuller have a little bit of a slide down the racer. Can he capitalise? Probably a bit too far back. And you got Paulinel and Nudes as well. I haven't seen much of Nudes, but hanging just outside the top 10. He'll get that position back once Paulie pits. As Battlecat, we got a little bit of a compromised line through the final corner, so we might see David have a look at turn 1. No, he doesn't. Oh, but what we will do is we'll have a change for the race lead. Arcs down the inside well before the the braking point at turn 3. Gets the job done. So Arcs reclaims the race lead and had to do it the hard way. Say the hard way. He's made it look easy with how quickly he's got those positions back. So Jerabot now just has to stick with the Red Bull. King Dogger and Aussie as well. So 4 drivers in this fight. Only 3 podium positions available. So Dave gets... Oh, Battle Cat's in the wall. He's lost his front wing and safety car. This helps T8 massively, and this changes the game completely. Do we see all these guys come in for medium tyres? I think T8 has to stay out because he's lost the positions anyway. This gives Paulie. He'll come in for a medium set of compounded tyres. I think everyone's going to. So T8 may have to, depending on where he'll land. He's only got 3 lap hard tyres. It still will work for him if he stays out. Just got to be careful not to speed in pit lane. So does T8... No, T8 does come in. He feels like he felt like he had to. He won't get held for as long. Medium compounded tyres goes on to the Mercedes, but he's been held massively. He's gone now. That hurt T8 massively. Potentially would have been better for him to stay out. Arcs actually got held as well. So being at the front of the queue where the Red Bull pit stop is, he got held and he's dropped 3 spots. So it's Jerabot, King Dogger, Aussie, Arcs in P4 at Paulie. That ult strategy has worked perfectly with this safety car. So he's running very nicely in P5 and is now back in contention for a potential podium position. Dave in P6. Battle Cat throwing that safety car hasn't actually hurt him at all. He's still P7. Probably very lucky that he didn't actually take a front left off, because that was very close that he could have easily done that. But yeah, that was very interesting indeed. As we head to the final stages of this race, everyone, as you can see, on a medium compounded tyre. Dan the Racer, 1 lap. So I think that might have been the set that he started on when he had to come in and box, I believe. So Dan won't really affect him too much because that first lap was only 3 corners before we saw a safety car, so that won't really matter for him. So everyone will pretty much be on a new set of medium compounded tyres. We've got 15 drivers, so all drivers at the moment scoring points. The fastest lap point at the moment is going to T8, but I have a feeling that will change with everyone on a quick medium. Position changes, we'll have a look because everyone can go to the end from here, and as we saw, Original Paulie has been the biggest winner from this recent safety car. He's up 13 positions from the back of the grid, so definitely a driver of the day. From him, Ark's down 3, but considering where he was after the second safety car, he's done a really nice job to come back and was leading this race prior to this safety car. Dan's up 7. He's done a nice job. Biggest losers, Bevo down 13 due to that collision at turn 3 about 5-6 laps ago. I believe he's got his front wing fixed now. So we'll see what his pace is like later on. But King Dogger, Aussie, they're up 4. Deli Fuller's up 4. Paulie's up 3. So, yeah, it's looking interesting. Jerabot up 2. Ark clearly has the best pace you'd imagine on the top 4. It's whether or not he can use it effectively and get the lead. It depends on if he can brake, but Ark's, I think, still has to be your favourite. He's looking strong around here. He's going to have 9 racing laps left because the safety car is in this lap. everybody has made at least two stops. F1 Paulie, the lucky one, only having to make one. Everyone is on a medium compounded tyre. There are your penalties. Paul and Hill on 3, A-Dog on 3, Donut Gorilla on 6. So we'll leave it on that for the time being. We'll keep an eye on penalties. So if anybody's got 2 warnings, I'm going to have to be ultra careful now. But hopefully this is going to be our final safety car of the night. We've had 3 safety cars. Hopefully we don't see a 4th. It's going to be the Sauber of Jerabot who will lead us away with this recent restart. King Dogger right behind. How does Jerabot go? He's gone through the final corner. Good start. Arcs is the one that's got the beauty at the moment. He can't pass before the start-finish line. I think he might have, and yes, he has to back off. He got such a good run through the final corner. Problem is, he was just too early. And you could just see, I thought he might have been across the line. He was. He backed off. So, unfortunately, he has to stay back in P4. But still plenty of time for the Red Bull driver to make moves. DRS will be open the next lap. No other position changes down the field. T8 down in 13th. Would he have wished to stay out and tried to take the lead on the hards? He felt he had to come in on the mediums. So he's stuck down in 12th at the moment. A-Dog in 13th. Donut Gorilla 14th. Bevo at the back in 15th. Not sure if he's got other damage that he's struggling with. But it's going to be Jerabot, King Dogger, Aussie, Arcs, Paulie, the top 5. Paulie doing a really nice job. And Paulie's actually broken away from David. So Paulie looking for a really, really nice top 5 here. Maybe even a top 3, we can hope. Good to see Paulie on the podium. T8 gets past Nudes. Donut Gorilla gets past A-Dog. Down at 11. So moves at the back. So Delifuller's dropped DRS. Did he finally get that front wing fixed? Yes, he did. As Paul and Hill had a bit of a moment. So this is going to be easily a move for... Oh, I was going to say a bit of a move, but no. Paulie maybe just putting a little bit of the ERS boost on and was able to keep that position. Does Delifuller go for a move at potentially turn 3? No, he doesn't. Oh, Dave leaves the session as he loses position to the battle cap. I'll just wait and see if he's got the invite that he can do. Otherwise, I'll get him in straight away. Just with the way the game is, I don't really want to send an invite just in case it shits itself again. Oh, Delifuller and Paul and L. That got messy. That's end plate damage for one of the Mercs. That's T8. So both Mercs having a shocker this evening. Oh, he's back in. Oh, Paulie's around. He's dropped a couple of positions. What's happened to Paulie? He's fighting Dave's AI car. Hopefully it doesn't do anything stupid. Thankfully it's not. This will give David time to get back in. Really unfortunate. Arcs gets the position on Aussie. T8's in for another time for a new front wing. So obviously side by side through top 9 and 10. They've obviously slowed the pack up. T8's been caught out, picked up wing damage. Really unfortunate. And he's at the back. Remember, still a point on offer. But this really hurts. Him in the championship standings was P2. This will massively change things if the result stays as they are. So it's going to be Jerabot and it's going to be King Dogger. Race lead change. And King Dogger gets it around the outside. Lovely stuff done from the Williams driver. He holds. King Dogger able to defend with DRS. Arcs is right there. Aussie is right there as well. Dan the Racer is leading the second train. Battle Cat, Paulie. Well, he doesn't have any damage, thankfully. So still could be on for a P5 here, but obviously something happening that we missed, and that's dropped him outside the top group. Paulie takes a tighter line. As we'll head up to our top 4, because this is looking close. 5 racing laps left. Arx is going to go round the outside. And Jerabot doesn't fight him too hard. So Arx inside the top 2 now. Just needs to get past King Dogger, but do you want to get past? Does he feel he can break a second, or do you want to just be the car behind and just wait for the final lap? There's a little bit of cloud cover comes over, but that won't really matter. As we ride on board with the Red Bull driver. He's been well and clear the fastest driver on track today, and he's going to take the race lead on the medium compounded tyres. Battle Cat will do the same thing on David, but David thought about fighting it back as you've got Paul and Hill down, getting the job done up into P7. Dan and Deadly Dilly's losing a couple of positions. So whether he got a little bit forced out at 9. Oh, and that's Williams Donut having a bit of a moment. He's on the grass now. Deadly Fuller's going to do it. There's slight contact. Thankfully, they don't rotate each other. Still side by side at 12. Just giving each other enough room, and there's contact, and they're both in the wall. Deadly Fuller trying to get the racing line into 14. Unfortunately, Donut was still there. Contacts happened. They're both in the wall. And our 4th and final safety car is out. This is going to be a quick one, and we're pretty much going to have a 2-lap sprint. Do we see many drivers in for a set of soft tyres at the end? We'll wait and see. Really unlucky. Really unfortunate for Deadly Fuller as well. Obviously, he lost a couple of positions earlier on in the lap, and side by side with Donut for those last couple of corners, and then, yeah, side by side, and obviously Deadly Fuller was trying to open up the corner for the last corner, and yeah, just Donut was still there, and obviously you sort of just a bit of a side swap, unfortunately, and into the wall, and unfortunately both Ferraris not scoring any points this evening in Tier 3. Really unfortunate. I feel really bad for those guys. Donut is on the soft compounded tyres. Do we see our leaders in for a set of softs? I don't really know if you want to give up track position. Arx is. He's going to give up track position. King Dogger doesn't. Jerabot doesn't. Aussie doesn't. Battle Cat decides not to. Dave, Paulie, Dan, A-Dog, Bevo, Nudes, Paul and Hill. So Donut and Tarot will stay out, or they might come in for another change. So Ark is going to come out in P10. To be fair, if he wins this race from here, if there weren't calls for him to move up to Tier 2 before, there might be now. But yeah, I probably would have stayed out because the mediums are only 7 laps and they've been under safety car for about 2 of them. He's flown through this field before, so it's a possibility, but he's going to have a tough ask ahead of him. I would have preferred, especially because you were the leader of this race. I would have stayed out. So he's played with the gamble. We'll wait and see. Problem is, it's not leaving him many laps left to do. So lap 26 or 29, because you've got the Merc at the back and the field hasn't caught up, so we're going to see this safety car out for this lap as well. So we're only going to have 2 racing laps. Safety car coming in at the end of lap 27, 2 racing laps. I think Ark's made the wrong call here unless we have an absolute catastrophe at the front. Possible. We've seen a few incidents in this race so far. But it'd be very interesting to see what some of the lead drivers are feeling. Obviously, Williams' bias is showing for myself. It'd be very nice for King Dogger to get this race win. Had a nice battle with Jerabot on Monday, so I wouldn't be too unhappy if he picked up a win as well. Aussie, good to see him up there as well. And I mentioned Battle Cat hadn't picked up a podium in Tier 3 so far this season. Is this the night that he does it? I might have given him a good comms curse with that one. That I called it at the start of the stream that he hasn't been on the podium, so we got to see him there, and we might be able to see him in there. So it'd be very nice. Obviously, big hit in terms of the championship. Bridgie obviously not finishing he loses a bunch of points. Bevo, he's down in P9. He'll lose a couple of points. It's going to be Jerabot that's going to be the biggest winner if he can stay on the podium. David, he's doing a nice job. P3, T8, currently P2 on the standings. 1 point lead over his teammate. He's going to be the one that's hurting down in P14. So he's had a mare. He'll pick up a couple of points, but yeah, it has not been T8's night. He needs absolute carnage at the end of this race. Paulie in P6, still doing a good job. Obviously, he had that moment that we missed off the restart, a couple laps in off the restart, but he's still holding P6. And again, late penalties, you never know. A couple of people have a couple of warnings. Might find themselves with 3 seconds, and 3 seconds will hurt you massively. They're your penalties. So from 9th down, or sorry, from 10th down, soft compounded tyres. 3 seconds to A-Dog, Paul and Hill, 6 seconds to Donut. So he's sort of out of it anyway. So T8 might be able to jump up to 13th. But we're going to have a 2-lap shootout here. Tier 3 Australia. The final round before the mid-season break here at AUSF1. You've got Austin in a couple of weeks' time. King Dogger, he leads the train. He has control of the field. There'll be 1 lap of DRS if we remain green. Jerabot's goal is to try and keep enough battery for the next lap. But he's got to be careful because Aussie will try and have a look at him this lap to have a go at King Dogger the next lap. King Dogger will just have to try and break away. We're in for a grandstand finish, King Dogger. Do we see Williams on the top step of the podium? He's gone through the final corner like everyone else has with all the restarts tonight. He got a good restart. He didn't completely break Jerabot, but he's there. Ark's in the background trying to get past Bevo, who's lost a little bit of time. But it's going to be the battle up front that we're looking at. 2 laps to go. As Jerabot, he wants to go for the move now down the inside at turn 3. Giving just enough room to each other. But the Williams is going to try and stick the nose up there. Doesn't quite do it. So Jerabot takes the lead. But is that the right call? He'll have to fend off 3 DRS zones next lap. Is he going to try and push now? Does he feel like he can break King Dogger? Lap and a half left. Top 5 very close together as we make our way through turns 9 and 10 for the second last time tonight. It was solid from all drivers. King Dogger's going to try and go for the move down the inside at turn 11. He backs out of it. I think he wants that DRS more. He could have sent it. On the last lap, we might see that move. So it's going to be Jerabot. You can see the wing flashing. Donut's gone around at the back. So not sure if that's been contact with him or someone else. Down the racer, it was a little bit slow through there. Ark's going around the outside of A-Dog, up inside the top 8 now. DRS is enabled for the final lap. No positions changed on or out of turn 1 or 2. No DRS down to 3. Battlecat's had a moment. He's lost it. Oh, Battlecat potentially could have been on for a podium or at least a top 5. He's out of the game altogether. Ark's around the outside. Down around the outside at 4, trying to fight Dan. Goes off the track. He claims that position, not sure if he'll be able to keep it. He's going to keep going, but we'll head to the front. Jerabot only 3/10 clear of King Dogger. Does he have the battery to hold on? We ride on board with the Williams, and already you can see so much more speed. Does the Williams driver, but you're going to see Aussie. Does he potentially go around the outside of the pair of them? King Dogger closes it off. But does he get the good exit out of 10? Aussie doesn't. So does Jerabot fight him back? But he won't have any DRS. So I think King Dogger is going to be home and hosed now. Oh, Aussie got very close to the rear end. There's nearly contact. Jerabot goes down the inside at turn 11. Aussie was sliding sideways, but not able to get the job done. He did manage to stop it as we come around the final corner. It won't be close enough. Oh, King Dogger had a moment. It's going to be a run to the line. Is it going to be King Dogger? Is it going to be 3 wide? It's going to be King Dogger. No, it's going to be Jerabot. Jerabot by a 1/10 of a second. No, 100th of a second over King Dogger. Aussie. Top 3 separated by less than a tenth of a second. I thought it was King Dogger from the looks of it. Gonna need a replay on that. Paulie picks up driver of the day. He finishes in P5. Kingy, was that legit? I thought you had it. I thought we were going to see Williams. It looked like you had a moment out of the final corner, Kingy. But Jerabot had the better run. It looked like it was still going to be there, but just as we come up to the line, and it's got to be the Sauber driver, Jerabot. Fantastic effort. I thought he had lost it, not having Darius on that last lap, but out of the final corner, got an absolute hell of a run. And just pipping to the post. We'll have a look at the results after the podium celebrations. It was, I believe, 100th of a second. What a race for Tier 3. So close. And as you can see, 0.011, Jerabot is your race winner ahead of King Dogger. Powerful Aussie, big slide, and he nearly pinched it as well, less than a tenth behind. Dave in P4, F1 Original Paulie in P5. Battlecat did well, but he could have been involved after his moment out of turn 1 on the last lap. T8 has somehow finished in P7. Dan in P8, Nudes in 9th, 10th is Bevo. ADOG 11th, Paulie in 12th, Donut in 13th, Ark in 14th, Deli Fuller in 15th, Cuds, Deli Fuller, Dunmore and Bridgie. Apologies, did not finish. So I'm just going to have a look because clearly a couple of pens thrown around. Obviously want to have a chat to our top 3 because I have a feeling there'll be heartbreak for one of them and absolute delight for the others. So we'll just wait for those drivers to get in. So we'll head back to our filler screen. I'll head to the podium interviews because we obviously want to have a chat there. But yeah, wow. What a end to the race. I thought after turn 11, I thought King Dogger had it. No, not quite. So looking at the penalties, I think Ark's picked up a 20-second penalty at the end. So I'm not sure if he'll be able to get that removed or not, but that would have moved him into, I think P6 Arcs would have finished. So if that was the case, it may not have been, that may be a legit 20-second penalty. So we'll just hold off on that. So, but we'll go through the provisionals anyway, but no one sort of DNF that shouldn't be. So we had 14 finishes. Few penalties at the end. No one picked up sort of any massive penalties, but T8 obviously very lucky that he got back up to P7. So obviously somehow did that. Yeah. Just want to make sure all those names are right, and then we can obviously want to have a chat with Jerabot, King Dogger, and Aussie. So we'll try and get them in the chat. But yeah, hell of a race that we just saw. Absolutely fantastic. Really unfortunate that we lost Bridgie on the opening lap. Would have been interesting what he would have been able to do. So we're just going to wait for a couple of these drivers to get in. Just waiting on one more. But yeah, hell of a race, and obviously break week now, and then we'll do this all again in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously around Coda, so completely different challenge for these Tier 3 boys. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting, close fight for the championship. I have a feeling for the end of this one. But yeah, great effort from the boys. We got 2 of these drivers in. We've got Aussie in first, P3 by less than a tenth of a second, but it was P3. Mate, fantastic race. Did at any point in those last 2 laps think you may have been on for that race win? It was very close between the top 3, but fantastic podium nonetheless from yourself.
Yeah, when I got into second place after turn 9 and 10, I felt like I was in a strong position there, but then on the next DRS, I just slightly tapped the back of Kingy and let Joe get back through into second place, which was probably the crucial difference between first and third in the end. But man, that was so close. That was a lot of fun, guys. That was an awesome race. I can't believe how close I was in the end. All those safety cars made it a bit stressful, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Obviously, the safety cars obviously a lot of stop start obviously at the end and sort of early on. But what were you sort of thinking tyre strategies wise? Because we saw Ark's box early on to go. No, not Ark. Someone else to box onto the hards very early, and then we saw Ark obviously box right at the end on the softs. Did you? How were you thinking? Were you even tempted to jump in on those softs at the end?
No, I didn't think there was enough time to do much, and probably be a lot of cars to overtake again. And the mediums were still pretty good. I think my mediums were only like 10 or 12% or something like that.
Yeah, obviously we saw.
Yeah, very tempted.
Yeah, sorry. No, you saw that he didn't quite have the pace, but from yourself, your pace looked pretty good tonight. You were sort of hanging around that top six all night long, and obviously a couple of guys making mistakes that dropped them down, so you were sort of in the right position at the right time. How were you feeling around Australia tonight?
Yeah, a lot better than I expected, because to be honest, I only did like half a lap on time trial earlier to like make sure my rig was working, and that was it. So I might have to try and do that more often, not bother practicing at all, and rock up and see how we go.
Hey, well, if it works for you tonight, it might work for you every other time. But yeah, Aussie, fantastic effort from yourself. You were so close to the race win, but I reckon you're happy with the P3. But yeah, congratulations on tonight, and enjoy the break, and enjoy obviously real life F1 this weekend.
Well, yeah, can't wait to be there. Might see the boys out and about.
Yeah, hopefully the guys that are going, obviously a few meet and greets I know are happening down there, so obviously enjoy down there and obviously enjoy the break, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, you too, man. See ya.
All right, next we've got P2. Oh, Kingy, I was so wishing as a Worms driver that you'd be on the top step. Talk us through that last lap. It looked after turn 11 you were home and hose. What happened through the last corner?
Yeah, so obviously I got a decent run onto the back straight, just burnt all ERS to get past, and then had pressure from Aussie coming into the final braking zone, what I thought was a final overtaking opportunity. He nudged the back of me. I don't think that affected too much, so I'm like, oh, I'm home free. Come out to the last corner, touch the outside grass a tiny bit, run wide, and then the rest.
But it was a fantastic battle anyway. We know obviously the end result, but good pace shown from you tonight. Obviously you and Gerald having a hell of a fight all the way through, obviously trying to get past the guys that decided to stay out. How were you feeling tonight in terms of your pace? Because you look good out there tonight.
Yes, I was surprisingly quick for once on medium traction control, so I'm never thought I'd be disappointed with the P2, so I was trying to look at the positives that I was quick, and hopefully I can keep that pace now.
Yeah, how are you feeling on medium traction? Because obviously, Inters, you've been able to sort of, I know you were sort of running medium and then not sure if you switched back to full or not, but I know obviously you've been trying to get your head around it. How are you sort of feeling, obviously, what was probably about 2 months into sort of a lot of leagues now?
Yeah, it's, for me, just varies so much from track to track. Like, obviously Australia I felt pretty confident at, but then if we go to a track like Imola, I have absolutely zero pace, so I'm more going to just work on consistency now.
Yeah, well, as I said, sort of other than maybe the last lap sort of little moment that you had, I don't think we really saw much mistakes in terms of you. So obviously you're looking good, and obviously just working on that consistency for the second half of the season. Obviously break this upcoming week, Coda, where we return in 2 weeks. Sort of how you feeling about that track? Obviously we know high downforce circuit that one is. We know that can be a bit of a tricky track in terms of if you're changing assists. How are you sort of feeling for that one?
I'll probably just try to practice as much as possible, find a setup that isn't too twitchy, and go from there.
Yeah, well, as I said, hopefully your form still continues. Congratulations on tonight. So close. As I said, fantastic racing from yourself anyway. P2 nonetheless, and yeah, we look forward to see what you can do in the second half of the season. Well done.
Thank you.
And last but not least, a band that was battling on Monday night. Good battle for near last in Tier 1, but Tier 3, you managed to pull it out. Jerobot, fantastic victory from you tonight. Did you think you had it 3 corners from the end? Did you think you lost it?
No.
Talk us through this last lap.
I tried to obviously go through none at the start, just trying, because I knew there was going to be DRS that last lap, so I just went into none, tried to consider the DRS. Well, I completely forgot about that last DRS zone at the end there. So I was like panicking, pressing the button. I think I turned it on and off about 3 times. But once I saw Kingy had that little half like squiggle, I thought, ooh, maybe P2. And then when I got by it, and yeah, I think I'm still in a bit of disbelief. But yeah, awesome battle. Shout out to both the boys, Kingy and Aussie, and Bevo, Battle Cat they're in chat, keeping me nice and calm. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one back. That's going to be a good last lap battle to watch back. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, clearly no thought in your mind boxing for those set of softs at the end.
It did cross my mind, but I knew there'd be too many people to stay out, and I wasn't confident to overtake clean, and I didn't want to lose the track position. My tyres, I think, were on the same, about 9-10% or so, so I thought there's still got plenty of meat on. I'm not the best when it comes to those calls, so I'm glad it actually worked out for once to stay out. And yeah, I think if we all would have gone in and one person would have stayed out, it would have been different. But I think the fact that, you know, the majority of us stayed out, it sort of played in our favour. We were all sort of fighting equally. They couldn't get past all of us, so yeah.
Yeah, well, it definitely helped you in the end. Obviously, you're in this championship fight as we'll quickly switch over. Obviously, you're only 12 points behind T8. I think he finished 7th, and Dave, I think, was about 4th or 5th. I think 5th, I believe. No, 4th.
Yeah,
no,
4th. I think 4th. Yeah.
4th. So I don't think you're quite out. Oh, actually, you gained 12 points on him and more than 13, so I think you and David potentially could be tied at the top of these standings. So halfway through, and potentially you and David tied. It's going to be a hell of a scrap coming into the second half of the season. How are you sort of feeling, obviously, with Coda in a couple of weeks' time? First off,
it's one of those tracks that I don't enjoy, but I seem to do well. But I really don't enjoy Coda. Just like you were saying before, no traction anywhere. You can lose it everywhere. I don't have much consistency, I feel, at Coda. I'm always pretty hesitant. I just don't know my limits there, so I'm too conservative, I feel. Without giving away too much, I guess.
Well, as I said, enjoy the victory tonight, savour it, and obviously enjoy the real life F1 this weekend. And we look forward to seeing you back out on track in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, Scotty, and shout out to my beautiful wife, Taylor. I know she'll be watching.
Congratulations on the victory, and shout out to all our top 3 drivers. So we'll have a quick look at our provisional standings on screen. Jerobot, King Dogger, Aussie, they were your top 3, and as you can see, less than a tenth of a second covering across the line. David in P4, F1 Original Paulie, fantastic job, rear of grid to P5, up 13 spots. Battle Cat in P6, T8 in P7, Dan the Racer in 8th, Nude in 9th, Bevo rounding out our top 10, A-Dog, Paul and Hell, Donut Gorilla and Arcs were your 14 finishes, and unfortunately we lost Deadly Fuller, Cuds, Dom War, and we lost Bridgie on the opening lap just before turn 3. Looking at our fastest laps and driver of the day, fastest lap goes to Arcs on a 1:18.591 on those softs right at the end. Bevo on and 1:18.603. And then Power Aussie did a 19.110. Driver of the day for the game, 18th to 5th goes to Paulie. Maybe fair shout for driver of the day as well for myself. Fantastic effort. Rear to grid, got the alt strategy right, perfectly timed safety car, but he was able to stick with the guys in that lead pack, and he claimed good points for Alpine. But that will wrap us up. Thank you everyone for watching this week's action at Melbourne, and all the races that we've been able to stream across the first half of the season. enjoy the Real Life Oz F1 this weekend. We'll enjoy a bit of a break, and then we'll come back for the final 6 rounds here at Oz F1, starting with Tier 1 the following Monday night at 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and then Tier 2 and Tier 3 the Tuesday and Wednesday. But I've been Scotty. Thank you very much for joining me the last couple of days in the comms box, and we'll enjoy the break, and then we'll see you for round 7 at Coda.